for a human being, they get wrapped up in a false sense of identity without realizing it's a false sense of identity. So it looks real. And this fear of being open, this fear of being transparent jeopardizes that identity. And you and I will know this identity as the ego. And the ego is trying to maintain a certain image for a sense of control. But in order for it to maintain that image, it can't be authentic, right? It always has to hold up this idea, because if it goes into what's authentic, it loses its image. It loses its control. And that's how it maintains control, is through that image. Like, if I can make sure people see me a certain way, then I feel solid, right? I feel like I've got it together. But the cost of that is I can't be myself, right? I can't be what I really am, which is quite fascinating to me, because if you look at the fundamental craving, in some way it says, I wish I could just be myself, right? I wish I could stop pretending all the time. I wish I could just relax and enjoy life. Well, you can't do that when you're holding up a lie. And that's all this identity is. It's me pretending to be who I think other people want me to be so I can maintain control. It's like I'm trying to get acceptance, but the only way I can do that is by rejecting myself. So look at the insanity of this. In order to avoid being rejected, I'll reject myself. And I want acceptance, right? I crave acceptance, but I'm rejecting myself. And we notice this, that it doesn't matter how many people accept you, right? You could be the world's most famous person, but when you're alone and by yourself, it means absolute shit. It just doesn't matter. And so this whole fundamental human journey is coming back to yourself and seeing what you really are, seeing that you're not that character, right? And again, but people really believe they're that character. And so there's a process of discernment, right? Which is the doorway of spirituality in its most authentic sense, is to be still and see what you really are. And as you see more clearly that, oh shit, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not my parents' idea of me, I'm not my partner's idea of me, right? I'm not my job. These are all just silly ideas that don't really mean anything about you. And then in really recognizing that, you don't have to protect those things anymore, right? You're only protecting them because you think they're real. But as you gain the awareness and see, wow, I'm not really that, then what am I really? And that's the doorway into the heart, right? Like, what's really true here? And in order to see that, you have to let yourself out, right? You have to see what you really are. And then as you do, what used to be so scary actually becomes the most beautiful thing.